It's the channel you didn't know you needed because you never needed it. But the royal family apparently has a dedicated streaming platform, and good news, maybe it's coming to Amazon Prime. Um, and I'm going to give you fair warning. So I know what's coming, and you don't. But I found some of the videos, the kind of thing this channel puts out. So I'm going to give you a health warning at the outset. If you're someone who is particularly susceptible to bouts of spasmodic cringing, and if cringing is a health condition that you suffer from, stop watching because we're going to come on to some of their videos, and oh my god. But to begin with, there is a subscribe button for this channel, which is much less cringe than what we're about to come on to. So if you like what you hear here, and if you want to hear more, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. But as the Telegraph reports, royal streaming service is racing to cash in on US interest, alleged US interest, it should say, and the Sussexes, that's Harry and Meghan, for people who don't go in for the lingo, and if there are any of you out there, well done. The Telegraph reports a streaming service chronicling the lives of the royal family and their peers around the world is raising £25 million ahead of a push to secure more viewers. I can only hope that their current viewer base is zero, because that's what it deserves, but I have a nasty suspicion that it's not. True Royalty TV is plotting investment in original shows and marketing after a distribution deal with Amazon Prime put it on track to double subscriber numbers by the middle of next year. It doesn't say how many subscribers they currently have, so going from 1 to 2 would be doubling. I know that would be doubling, or 4 to 8. So maybe that's if that would be happy making, if that were the case, because it would suggest that mental illness rates in the world are not as high as we might fear they were. But the service is poised, the Telegraph continues, for an upsurge in interest amid a busy 2021 for the royal family, with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge turning 40, the 20th anniversary of the Queen Mother's death, and the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Oh, I mean, really, it's also capitalising on interest in the Duke and Duchess of Sussex after they left Britain last year. Is any of this interesting? Couple has birthday. Big news. The 20th anniversary of the Queen Mother's death. Is this celebrated? You may have guessed from my accent that I'm in Britain. I don't remember celebrating the last 20 years of her death. Some Republicans are perhaps inclined to celebrate this because, 20 years, she's still dead. But I don't think we've celebrated it previously. Did we do it on the 10th anniversary? I wasn't old enough to remember, thankfully. But apparently this is something worth celebrating. The Queen's Platinum Jubilee will definitely be celebrated. That's a significant milestone. I am a Republican, but it is objectively a significant milestone. It is, it's a significant moment in the constitutional history of this country. It's a historic moment. And there's also the small matter of us being given days off to celebrate it, which everyone should probably be on board with. Though I'm a journalist, so whether I get these days off is in doubt. But and then interest in the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Well, we're going to come on shortly to how much interest there is in these little termites presently. But this at the moment, it's True Royalty TV already exists. It's currently a £5.99 a month app, featuring documentary, lifestyle, and historical shows such as Harry and Meghan, The Troubled Years, Albert, The Power Behind Victoria, and Diana, Who Do You Think She Was? We can dispense with Upstart, I think, but who pays £6 a month for this? And why have you not been diagnosed? Honestly. Chief Executive Gregor Angus said the business is now at a point where it can aim for significant growth, says Telegraph continues. So, well, it's been around for a while. Surely significant growth you sort of aim for at the beginning. No? Apparently not. He said the distribution footprint we now have in place with Comcast in America and the Roku channel and Amazon Prime can really drive growth across those platforms, as well as on our website and app. There's a website and an app. God. We can go quicker because we have this enviable US footprint, which will also take us into other markets internationally. Our ambition now requires growth capital and institutional funding. If anybody does fund this, by the way, you are morons and you should not be trusted with people's money. Why? Why would anybody... Why? True Royalty TV, the Telegraph continues, which adds about 20 new shows to its service every month, apparently, funds its own programmes as well as working on co-productions with rival broadcasters. Then they're not rivals, are they? It is currently jointly funding a show with Channel 4, predictably, which will air on the terrestrial broadcasters TV channel in the UK, but appear on the True Royalty TV overseas. The business conducted a YouGov survey in America to better understand the demand for royal content and found that 14 million people would consider taking out a subscription to its service. You fought a war to... What is the point in America? You deliberately fought a long and costly and bloody war so you didn't have to deal with this shit. Why are 14 million of you apparently regretting that decision or acting as though it never happened? Now, this does happen both ways. I was in London when Donald Trump got in, and we had protests where British people were going around waving placards saying, "Not my president," which is true by definition. So, yeah, and, you can go back through history. There has always been a fascination with royalty, with the Americans, and with the British aristocracy in general. It was lamented by reactionary types like Evelyn Waugh, rightly lamented, it should be said, that American aristocracy tended to try and buy itself legitimacy. The English aristocracy was bankrupt, but had a huge amount of cultural and historical capital, and the American aristocracy was incredibly rich, but lacked any historical grounding. So there was this tendency throughout the 1910s, 20s, 30s, 40s, for the American aristocracy to marry into the British aristocracy to lend themselves some kind of veneer of history. So this thing does happen, and the royal family is basically at this point a big state-funded Big Brother house. That's how we treat it. So yeah, I can understand it, the interest from a celebrity point of view, and Americans treat their celebrities like gods, so maybe that's the reason. But still, you have founding fathers turning in their graves at this fawning over not even particularly interesting members of the English royalty. I mean, they're minor members. In the case of Harry and Meghan, they are non-serving members, and we wish they would be permanently exiled members. You can keep them if you want them. Don't send them back, though, whatever you do. If you send them back here, we will send you Piers Morgan back, and you will still have got a better deal. But anyway, the Telegraph continues amid a backdrop of consolidation across the media industry as old entertainment titans join forces to counter the rise of Netflix and Disney. You're trying to counter Netflix with True Royal TV. I'm just going to say now that I think you've lost, and if I were betting on this particular war, I would go with Netflix and Disney Plus. Give me The Mandalorian. Do not give me True Royal TV, unless there's a crossover in which The Mandalorian kills Harry and Meghan, or at least sends them off to Jabba. No, he's dead in The Mandalorian, isn't he? So, well, sacrifices them to the Hutts in one form or another. Just permanently encase them in carbonite and put them in a basement. That would be good. Discovery. Telegraph continues is in the midst of a $43 billion mega merger with Warner Media that will bring together its stable of channels with the likes of HBO and Cartoon Network. True Royalty TV, which created by Mr. Angus and Nick Bullen, the founder of TV production company Spun Gold, of which I've never heard, and I don't think you have either, expects further takeovers among smaller streaming companies as the bigger entertainment players look to burnish their offerings. Mr. Bullen said the company's tie-up with Amazon has made it one of the fastest growing streamers in the UK. Amazon or True Royalty TV? I think True Royalty TV, but again, growing from 1 subscriber to 2 is 100% growth, and Amazon can't boast 100% growth in a year, so unless you're going to give us existing figures, that's basically meaningless. A little bit more background on True Royalty TV, if you want. In 2018 is Netflix for royal watchers. Just crusty nutters. After the royal wedding pulled in 2 billion viewers across the globe, the Telegraph says it's no surprise the companies are keen to find ways to cash in on our taste for royal watching. I actually prefer Big Brother. At least you can vote them out. The Harry and Meghan Lifetime movie was only the first step. I didn't get that one prepared. I'm almost tempted to click on it. Maybe we will. We shall see. Well, we'll see what happens. It was only the first step. Now those truly voracious for more regal televisual offerings have their own version of Netflix to sate their appetites. True Royalty TV bills itself as the world's first and only on-demand TV service devoted to the best in royal documentary and drama. It was founded by Nick Bullen, former editor of This Morning. For audiences who are either not in this country or who have taste, This Morning is a really gaudy breakfast TV show on ITV, which again Piers Morgan was on briefly. I think he was on This Morning, wasn't he? Nobody sane watches morning television. It's for single mothers who are stressed out, and for pensioners who like to keep in touch with the world, and for just generally speaking, hopeless drifters. Founded by Nick Bullen, yes, it's the editor of This Morning. We have a team of curators who source our content, and they have unearthed some fascinating material, Bullen told Vanity Fair, which is a really good description for modern royals, Vanity Fair. One of the documentaries they found is called The Duke and Duchess of Windsor, the secret photos of their love story, about Edward VIII and Wallis Simpson, and contains some very rare photographs of Wallis, which show her in a much softer light. Wallis Simpson was a Nazi sympathiser, and so was Edward VIII. This is like saying we found some really fascinating new family photographs of Goebbels' wife, and it really paints her in a softer light. No. There's a reason these people are not painted in a very soft light at the moment. It's because in most sane walks of life, Nazis are bad. Even if they're royal Nazis. Why would you... Anyway. You get to see the romance of a couple in love rather than the stern face of a woman who was blamed for the abdication and sympathising with Nazis. There were pictures of Wallis in a bathing suit, Nazi porn, and having a nap on the beach, which make her somehow more human and less than the the ball-breaking woman who stole the crown. I don't think that ever came out in any biographies of Edward, did it? Was he into that kind of thing? The Nazis who are into BDSM, they both like leather. There is that. Maybe that's the link. This program, God, it gets better. This program, When Anton Deck Met the Prince, will be available on the channel alongside other offerings from Bullen Spun Gold production companies such as Prince William's Passion, Conservation in Africa, The Last Party at the Palace about the debutante system, and the BAFTA award-winning The Queen's 90th birthday celebration. It's available across the Anglosphere in the United Kingdom, Ireland, and the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, and costs $4.99 a month or $49.99 for a year subscription. So A, that was £50 a year in 2018, which is way too much. B, it's since gone up. Honestly, if you like this, if you actually have a subscription to this kind of channel, if you're the kind of person who watches the royals professionally, go to your doctor. There are that it's capitalizing on some surge in popularity in the case of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in particular, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Is this true? Is there one? My painfully slow laptop will provide. So it's already not going well in this country. This is YouGov's data for the United Kingdom, reported in September this year, that the proportion of the public thinking positively of Prince Harry is down 10 points. As Ofcom reported at the time, as Ofcom clears Piers Morgan of any wrongdoing over his criticism of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. New YouGov royal favourability data shows public opinion of Harry and Meghan continues to slip. Positive opinion of Prince Harry has seen a decrease of 9 points, from 43% in April to 34% now, which is still far too high. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, has also seen a further decline in her public rating, with positive opinion falling from 31% in March to 29% in April and to 26% now. A quarter of this country needs to take a good, hard look at itself. A good, hard look. And it really shouldn't like what it sees. Since the last iteration of YouGov's royal favourability trackers, Harry and Meghan faced continued fallout from their interview with Oprah Winfrey, as well as poor responses to their statements surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic and the withdrawal from Afghanistan. I mean, I can't really think of a less competent couple in the public eye. I mean, everything they say is either cringe-making or a lie or both. And that Oprah interview, for instance, was absolutely shocking. And it's not even as though it's talented lying, given that Meghan Markle contradicted herself in, roughly speaking, every other paragraph. So it's not going very well for them in the UK. I think actually this has changed since. I mean, this is in September. Age was a dividing factor, as it mostly is, because young people, of whom I am still nominally one, but by and large we are idiots and shouldn't be trusted with anything. It's why the voting age should be raised to at least 35. I wouldn't be able to vote, but I would take that. They're most popular among the young, as is communism. Those aged between 18 and 24 are split over Harry, 47% positive versus 44% negative, and tend to think positively of Meghan, 50% to 40%. God. No, okay, no, actually, no, hike the voting age to 40. And preferably only people who have jobs. No representation without taxation should be a default position, because millennials and Gen Zers, particularly, and Gen Xers, we probably deserve to be disenfranchised at this point. We are an awful, abysmally bad generation, several generations, and something must be done. By contrast, only 13 to 18% of people aged 65 and over think of Harry and Meghan positively, based old people. The Queen is still the most popular, with 80% of the public holding a positive opinion, closely followed in popularity by the second in line to the throne, Prince William, who's more than twice as popular as brother Harry. William's on 78% and Harry's on less than that. And the Duchess of Cambridge, his wife, is held in similarly high regard at 75%. To put this in some more easily visual or visualizable perspective, here we have Meghan's popularity. 96% have heard of her. Only 28% like her, 51% don't like her. This is again from YouGov, and 18% are neutral, which I can only assume means they don't have televisions. Lucky them, actually. So she's not exactly massively popular, really, but the best thing is obviously to put that in context, because because as you see, there are people in the royal family whom, well, I've never heard of, and many of the public haven't. Well, actually, no, most of the public have heard of a lot of these people, but there are people you would not expect to see above her, shall we say. Not exactly front-line members of the royal family. Prince Philip is much more popular, 62% popularity, even though he's dead. William's popularity 62%, Duchess of Cambridge, Catherine is 60%, Princess Anne, who is alright. I mean, she rides horses, I think. Does she ride horses? Yeah, she rides horses. 54%, Prince Charles, bad news for him, 45%, but you have to keep going down, unfortunately, for Meghan to find her. Zara Phillips is on 44%, Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, of whom I had never heard. Somehow 80% of the country has, but there we are. She's on 43%, Prince Harry then significantly less, on 36%, still more popular than Camilla, on 33%, who was never going to live down, unfortunately for her, being a better match for Prince Charles than Diana was. Then Prince Edward, of whom I know nothing. Princess Eugenie, of whom I know nothing, apart from that she wore a really silly hat to, was it the royal wedding? I don't remember. Then Princess Beatrice, I can't tell these two apart. She's on 29%. Then you find Meghan Markle, second bottom of the list, on 28%. The only person in the royal family she's more popular than is a paedophile, allegedly. Prince Andrew. Burgeoning interest in her, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, despite one of these people just about being more popular than an alleged paedophile. Surging popularity. I mean, I suppose when the Telegraph reports that there's a surge in interest in these people, it doesn't say in what sense interest. Psychopaths are quite interested in torturing animals. Masochists are quite interested in being whipped. Sadists are quite interested in whipping people. Masochists are also quite interested in watching royal documentaries. So it's not necessarily a good thing that people are more interested, but yeah. I think I personally, before I had a streaming service dedicated to me, I'd want to be at least 5 places above the alleged paedophile in popularity. That's a pretty significant failing. Moving on, the Express reported on this. It's the Express, and it has nothing better to do. But it reported on this finding by YouGov that there's a popularity slump for Meghan and Harry, and obviously that was UK only data, and apparently their fans have taken to Twitter, fans abroad, to say that they're global. Forget the UK. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry supporters have raged on social media after a YouGov poll suggested their popularity had slumped. The Express reports the survey suggested positive opinion of both the Duke and Duchess of Sussex had fallen, etc. We've covered that. Get a furious backlash from supporters of the Sussexes on Twitter. Are they anywhere else? anywhere? I think they're only on Twitter, aren't they? And in California. One user tweeted, "Does YouGov still think Harry and Meghan popularity is low? Propaganda won't work. This couple is global." Yeah, YouGov is propaganda. The post referenced the influence of Meghan and referred to a bag she was carrying following her engagement to Prince Harry in 2017, which is said to have sold out in just 11 minutes. She was popular in 2017 because she hadn't opened her mouth yet. So that's explicable. Others jumped to the defense of the couple and responded to the poll on Twitter. One user said, "The UK is not the world. Of course it's California. California is bigger than the UK. Get real." Yes, California is also a shithole. To be fair, much of the UK is, but only because it's becoming too much like California. California is a place where homeless people can defecate on the streets and inject drugs into their feet in full view of the police, and where Seth Rogen can boast of his car being broken into 17 times as a means of describing how virtuous he is at not being annoyed by this. California is a shithole, and that's why so many of you are moving to Texas and Florida. A second added, "Pointless exercise as H&M, Harry and Meghan long ago realised the UK isn't their market, and instead they will be successful with their particular brand elsewhere," which is I think Eichmann found the same thing, didn't he? Sort of became a bit unpopular in Europe after the fall of the Nazis and moved to Argentina, which would also be part of the thing that post market. So yeah, same line of defense as could be used by Eichmann. That's convincing. Meanwhile, a third wrote, "Somehow I don't think they are bothered." No, they're probably not, because they have multi-million-dollar streaming deals with Netflix, Spotify, whoever else, in the name of promoting their privacy, of course. And I think they're involved in banking at this point as well. They're involved in every disreputable activity you can think of. The survey also suggested Harry and Meghan divided opinion amongst younger people, etc. The Express goes on. There's another article, if we do quickly move on to the Express. This is about their popularity in the United States, which of course is the potential selling point for True Royalty TV, or whatever the hell that god-awful channel is called. Well, apparently the US public are getting fed up with them, according to this article in the Express again by Cara Kennedy, who must be wishing to move on by this point. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are losing popularity in the US as people are struggling to figure out what their role is, a royal commentator has claimed. So this isn't exactly the most believable of articles, because royal commentators are about as reliable and useful as sort of crystal ball readers and tarot card readers. It's such a weird job. I don't know why anyone I can kind of see why they'd want it, but it shouldn't, because it's just I mean, if you don't know the tenor of general royal correspondence, just look up Nicholas Witchell. Even the palace doesn't like Nicholas Witchell. It's like Kremlinology, the old practice of attempting to guess the habits of Soviet leaders by reading tea leaves, effectively, which was American foreign policy throughout the 1960s and 1970s. That's basically what royal reporting is. Anyway, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, the Express reported, who stepped down as working members of the royal family in January 2020, are now becoming increasingly involved in political issues. In the last few weeks, the Justice of Sussex penned an open letter to Congress about paid parental leave. The pair also wrote a letter for leaders at COP26 talking about vaccine equity. Famous environmental issue, that one. But royal commentator Noel Phillips has suggested the US public are getting fed up with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle because of their outspokenness. Good, it's about time. Join the club. We got fed up with them. That's why they decided we're not their audience and left. Where they will go after the United States, I don't know, but California will always be their home, because California is, as mentioned, a garbage state full of garbage people who like this kind of preening, sententious, unearned wealth. Mr. Phillips told Good Morning Britain, I think that is, as opposed to the GMB Union, having been speaking to a lot of people, there are a lot of people who are now saying we are Team Harry and Meghan all the way. We fully support them, and they have every right to be commenting on racial justice, on issues of equality, as they... princes and princesses are in no position to be on. Apparently this irony has escaped her. They're literally dozens of adoring fans. We fully support them, and they have every right to be commenting on racial justice, etc. Then there are people who are saying, listen, there are stories that have emerged in the couple in the last couple of days. Copy editing. Declining trade. Now, saying Meghan has picked up the phone and has been ringing politicians asking them to vote for issues in Congress. pictures. There are people saying that that should absolutely not be happening. I'll just wait till they hear about lobbying in America. You continue, Meghan and Harry are two A-list celebrities. They no longer have the royal platform they once had. Obviously, and they're now using their celebrity status to be as influential as they can. We didn't see them at COP26, which was a blessing. We saw other members of the royal family, so they're doing what they can. In a way, I think they're competing with the royal family to be as relevant and to be as prominent as they can, but I think overall sympathy is on the decline. I really hope so. But there are reports, of course, that Meghan Markle is eyeing up a US presidential run, onto which we may come back shortly. But you can sort of... I haven't been able to find very detailed polling data based in the United States. US polling data on the couple is in short supply, it would seem. YouGov tends to focus on UK things. They did a bit... You can sort of read between the lines, or you can get it sort of as a corollary of other things. So YouGov did poll Americans and Britons about their attitudes to Prince Harry's forthcoming memoir, which I've just learned is a thing. And now I need a drink. Prince Harry recently announced he'll be publishing a wholly truthful literary memoir in 2022. Yeah. Well, as long as his wife had no say in writing it, that might be true. But I doubt it, given that everything else they've said is a lie. Memoirs will present the definitive accounts of the experiences, adventures, losses, and life lessons that have helped shape him. This comes just a few months after Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sat for a tell-all interview with Oprah, in which they accused the royal family of mistreating them and their son. So that's not exactly a good sort of advert for a supposedly truthful memoir, is it? You've just sat down and just effectively lied through your teeth on Oprah in a blurry cam, with Oprah not challenging anything that was said because she's not an interviewer. She's just... words fail. Having watched that, I think people are less inclined to believe that any subsequent memoir might be truthful, but new polls from YouGov suggest the book might be better received by American audiences as opposed to British ones, as a quarter of Americans say they are very or fairly interested in reading Prince Harry's memoir when it publishes, while just 14% of Britons say the same. Both cases are way too high, especially Americans. Again, what was the point in the Revolutionary War? You did what we couldn't do. You got rid of this. You have no need of it anymore. So just stop it. Okay? It's not something you need. It won't improve anything about your lives. 2/3 of the British public, along with 51% of Americans, say they are not interested at all. Which is again too low, but at least, it's more than half. Is it inappropriate for Prince Harry to publish his memoir? Well, 53% of the British public feels it's inappropriate. 38% of these saying it's very inappropriate, but only 21% of Americans say it's inappropriate for Prince Harry to release this book. And close to half of Americans, that's 46%, and 23% of Britons say it's appropriate for him to be publishing his memoir. Additional YouGov polling suggested that Americans have a higher opinion of Prince Harry than the British public does, probably because we've seen more of him. YouGov ratings data finds that 51% of Americans have a positive view of Prince Harry, just 31% of Britons do, whilst 22% of Americans and 44% of Britons have a negative view of the Duke of Sussex. Again, this can only improve from my point of view. The more Americans see of Prince Harry, the less they'll like him, I think. That's what I'll cling to. But we can go back and close, I suppose, with True Royalty TV, because they're on YouTube, as you would expect. Not doing massively well, but I thought we could take a look at some of the things they offer. So, again, health warning. If cringing causes you issues, turn off at this point, because you're not going to want to see this. Again, it's not exactly prime time viewing. This has been up since February this year. 264 views. This channel, which has barely started and has no money behind it, has got almost that many views on a couple of videos in less time. Only 4 likes, 1 dislike, but this is the kind of thing you can expect on Amazon Prime for $6.99 a month, or whatever it was. Prepare yourselves.
Diana, Princess of Wales, was the people's princess. She was one of the most profound and beautiful people the world will ever know.
Profound? Really? Profound? How? This is a woman who famously had more semen in her than the royal yacht did by the time of her death. What? Profound? Also, I know beauty standards change, and by the standards of Britain in the sort of the late 80s and early 90s, when for a brief time Margaret Thatcher was almost a sex symbol. Yeah, okay, by comparison, Diana's kind of hot. But, I mean, I'm not the best judge of these things, not being completely straight, but one of the most profound and beautiful people in the world? No. No. Just no.
Her loving kindness gave hope to the homeless. Care to...
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Not that I'm aware of. Again, being with Mother Teresa is a really bad sign of your loving kindness, given that, as Christopher Hitchens famously said, Mother Teresa was a friend of poverty, not a friend of the poor, and she tended to leave them to die of perfectly treatable conditions without any medication, and then was swanning off around the world meeting bimbos like Princess Diana and taking lots of their money, which in the case of the Duvalier family was expropriated from the poor of Haiti in the first place. Did Diana... I mean, you could put a lot of people up in Kensington Palace. That would have been a good idea. But not, as far as I'm aware, no, I don't think that happened at all.
Landmine victims.
Yeah.
And a loving touch to aid...
Does bring back the joke, which I think, again, I'm stealing from Christopher Hitchens, which is, what is the similarity between Princess Diana and the landmine? They are both very easy to lay, but difficult and expensive to get rid of. But the AIDS thing was cool, I guess. I mean, this was at a time when people genuinely thought that you could catch AIDS in the air, which you can't. America. I know a few of you still don't know this, but that's not how it works. So Diana actually touching an AIDS victim did have some symbolic value, because it showed not only sort of a degree of understanding and acceptance, but also it attempted to remove some of the fear factor from the means in which AIDS was transmitted. So to that I won't lie, I won't make fun of. That was good. That was a good thing that she did. One of the few.
AIDS patients. She was an inspiration to her children.
She never once allowed her unfaltering love for us to go unspoken or undemonstrated.
What happened to you?
She was quite simply the best mother in the world.
The evening is all about our mother. The main purpose
I think that's enough of that. What else have we got from True Royalty TV? The Royal Beat, Prince Harry moving on.
Hello and welcome to the Royal Beat.
Were you ready for that, love? Nope. No second takes either. This looks highbrow. Great production quality there. I'm loving the lurid pink on the whitewashed brick wall. That's a really good look.
In what has been another explosive week for those in the House of Windsor. This week, Prince Harry, in his most recent interview, there seems to be a lot of those these days, compared his life in the royal family to a mix between the Truman Show and the Zoo, following his already...
Not enough like the Zoo. I'd be all for putting him in a cage and letting people gawp at him, and then denying him microphones, because you don't tend to give chimpanzees microphones, and you don't get too close to them because they throw shit at you if you do. So actually that's quite a good analogy, but not enough like a zoo. More like a zoo for the royal family.
Controversial interview with his wife Meghan with Oprah Winfrey back in March. I don't think any of us saw that there was more coming. He
Then
sat
you
down
weren't paying
with
attention.
an American podcaster, Dax Shepard, and, well, they talked a lot. We'll be walking you through all of the highlights from that conversation a little later in the show.
No, you won't. No, you won't, because I'm already bored. No. People, well, I was about to say people watch this crap. That's way too many people. I know it's been up since May, and I know, there are cooking channels on YouTube which have more views, but that's still too many. 30,000 people. That's no. You're depressing me, human race. Finally, Meghan Markle for president.
Meghan Markle is arguably the most talked about woman in the world right now. Since joining the
This was in February last year, we should say.
House of Windsor, she's rarely been off the front page. She's crossed the pond to marry a prince, but despite all that pomp and ceremony, it was clearly Meghan's day, done her way.
Her wedding was the blackest wedding England has ever seen.
What? No, what? No, no. There are black people in this country. There are people blacker than Meghan Markle in this country. And as far as I knew, multi-million, hundreds of millions of pounds being spent on weddings between princes and princesses, celebrities and decadent aristocracy or defunct aristocracy, between upper class ginger nobodies who are fourth in line to the British throne, and B-list Hollywood celebrities. That's not a black wedding. If it is, then I don't know as much about black people in Britain as I thought I did. But no, I'm pretty sure that's not how these things usually work. I'm pretty sure it was a relatively white wedding. No, then I'm not. No, there's a song involved there, which I'm not going to play. But no, how was a royal wedding the blackest wedding the UK has ever seen? What?
That was all orchestrated by her.
Meghan Markle does things that don't conform to the palace rules.
Yeah, like getting involved in politics and saying things that are just flat out untrue and irritating everyone by opening your mouth every 5 seconds to run it off about something you know nothing about. That's not how the royal family works. Never has been. On the rare occasions the royal family has been involved in politics in the past, it's not gone well for it. See Oliver Cromwell, of whom we could do with more, up to a point. So, yeah, unconventional. Also, this is why she became so massively unpopular. Anyway.
She has been shaking things up at the palace like no one before.
Women don't need to find a voice. They have a voice. They need to feel empowered to use it.
All of a sudden, the media went, she's being political. Standing up for women's rights is not an act of politics. It's an act of survivorship.
Meghan has refused to be the silent royal wife.
She is a boss bitch, and if she doesn't like something, she will change it.
But what's next for this unstoppable mover and shaker?
Well, that was in February last year, and we all know what came next, and none of it was good. So, yeah. That is all that and more coming to Amazon soon. I hope you're looking forward to it as much as I am, which is to say not at all.